Hello, everyone. We are going to talk ceremonial speeches. Two objectives of this short recording. One, identify various types of ceremonial speeches. And number two, apply techniques, specifically identification and magnification. All the great storytellers use these. I think it's really just going to define something that you are very used to and accustomed to hearing. So number one, types of ceremonial speeches. Tribute, acceptance, introduction, and inspiration. Our text also talks about toasts and masters of ceremonies, or if you were to act as an MC. For purposes of this class, we're just going to review these four. The first is a speech of tribute. This is where you honor a person, a place, a thing, a team, your employer, an employee. You pay tribute, okay? This might be in the form of an award, okay? If you are honored as the MVP or the team player of the year. It might be in the form of a eulogy, where you're honoring somebody who has passed and you're sharing their life's work and their contributions. Or it may be in the form of a toast, which is really just a mini speech where you're toasting to a certain event or happening. So a recent example, Sioux Falls Little League team went to the World Championship in fall of 21. There was a lot of excitement and tribute surrounding that for our state, where we honored these young athletes coming from the Midwest, overcoming objections, travel, and so forth. We honored that event as well as specifically the coaches and the players within that. The second type of speech, acceptance. When you receive an award or you receive honor, you say a few words of thanks. So this works both sides. If you are presenting the award, you will pay tribute. If you are accepting, you will acknowledge and say thank you. And I couldn't resist the most recent Will Smith Award. Next up, a speech of introduction. As you know, I do trainings for local companies. This was recently at First Premier Bank. I was conducting a workshop on communication across generations. And this is actually a photo of while I was being introduced, where you talk about who the speaker is, what experience they bring, what you can expect. Typically, you introduce somebody of honor, a speaker, a guest, a keynote speaker, something of that event. Okay, and next we have a speech of inspiration. This is where you're asking your audience to think about something new, an idea, a value, a goal, to share that and inspire commitment to that idea. TED Talks are a perfect example of speeches of inspiration. Their tagline, ideas worth spreading, where they want that audience to take on something new, have a new understanding, and commit to adapting and adopting it in their lives, where your aim is to inspire. So now our second objective, let's talk about the two techniques, okay, that we use in ceremonial speaking. The first being identification, which is something that we have talked about throughout the term. If I say to you, I really identify with your message, that means I share feelings with it. I understand it. I relate. And that is always our goal in any type of speaking, to create identification. We want to create a shared sense, okay? Be that of feelings, memories, values. So I have some imagery here. If you were asked to be the keynote speaker at your senior commencement or provide the valedictorian speech, you would probably do a lot of things to create identification. When you create identification, you tell stories, you share memories, you talk about group values. So maybe it's talking about the Lynx Way, what has been instilled living and operating in the community of Brandon. Maybe you talk about senior prom, the after prom party. Maybe you talk about the friendships, the challenges that you overcame as a class. This creates identification, and it creates a currency, a synergy among the speaker and the listeners. Now, the second technique is really just further developing identification, and that is magnification. When we magnify, okay, we want to create identification, but specifically how we do that is we want to stress certain qualities. Okay, now the scenario I'm going to use to describe this beautiful woman in the middle is Maria. She is a former student of mine. Maria's oldest Trip just endured a 5-year battle with brain cancer. 5 years. And he was just recently buried and celebrated his memorial of life. And the qualities that were emphasized in this were Trip's smile. This kid always had a smile on his face, and his Tripperisms. He just had little funny comments and quirky things to say. And then his resilience, overcoming pain and physical and mental challenges, but still keeping his zest for life. He loved racing. He loved his family. He loved his dog. He had great faith. So the values that were stressed were family, faith. The qualities that were stressed were his smile and his sense of humor. And then in the stories and in the memories, that identification was created. So identification and magnification work hand in hand. Again, identification is that shared feeling, like, yes, I remember that story, or oh, what a great memory, where we have that synergy. And the magnification are the specific qualities that you want to emphasize or pay tribute to. So in Trips, for instance, his smile, his Tripperisms, his sense of humor, his zest for life despite his pain and challenges, and his great faith. Those were the attributes that were magnified with memories and stories of overcoming, stories of laughing, stories of time together. Okay, so we just talked about the various types of ceremonial speeches. Okay, we talked about tribute, acceptance, introduction, and inspiration. And then we talked about identification, that shared feeling between speaker and listener, and then magnification. We magnify a few key qualities, right? We put them under the microscope and we enlarge them with identification, the stories, the memories, and so forth. All right, thank you very much.